Recent diplomatic tensions between India and Canada have raised eyebrows, centering around allegations regarding the controversial figure Hardeep Singh Nijjar, declared a terrorist by India. However, what lies beneath these allegations and their potential consequences has become a subject of intense scrutiny. Some political experts suggest that Canadian Prime Minister Justin Trudeau, facing declining popularity ahead of elections, may be seeking Khalistani appeasement given their significant influence in Canada.
The diplomatic ties between India and Canada appear to be fraying at the edges, all over allegations concerning the extremist Hardeep Singh Nijjar, a Canadian Sikh who was shot dead by unknown assailants in June. And days after Trudeau levelled unsubstantiated charges, no evidence supporting his claims has been presented by his team. And now a more pressing question looms: what's the motive behind these allegations? According to several political analysts, it's Prime Minister Trudeau's dwindling popularity ahead of elections that has triggered this move. He's seeking appeasement among the Khalistani community, a significant and influential presence in Canada's political landscape. Many others have expressed shock over Trudeau's stance, saying a strong Indian response was expected in such a scenario.
I know it's very unusual for a head of government to go public with such explosive allegations against the government, and particularly in the case of India. India, so far as I know, has never been accused of any government in the West, particularly a key Western partner like Canada, of being involved in a state-sponsored assassination. So in that sense, to this point, India's reactions are exactly what one would have expected: the tit-for-tat responses, the expulsion of diplomats, the travel advisory warning. And keep in mind as well, the Indian government it likes to be projected as very strong, confident, nationalistic. So there was no way that India was just going to sit on its hands after these explosive allegations were made.
However, the curious thing is that if these allegations carried more weight or Canada was genuinely serious about them, we'd see a ripple effect across all aspects of Indo-Canada relations. Surprisingly, that hasn't occurred. Canada's Deputy Army Chief Major General Peter Scott recently visited New Delhi and emphasized that these diplomatic strains have had no impact on their defense ties.
I'm fully aware of Prime Minister Trudeau's statement, the government's stance, and the government's request for India to participate in and cooperate in the investigation. But really, that has no impact on us here at the Indo-Pacific Conference. We're really here to build relationships army to army, and we'll let our governments deal with that issue themselves.
Canada's inability to produce concrete evidence has put them on back foot, with many deeming this move as purely political. Even India's Foreign Minister Subramaniam Jaishankar reiterated during his UNGA address that Delhi remains open to cooperation and investigation if Canada can provide any proof. That evidence has yet to surface.
One, we told the Canadians that this is not the Government of India's policy. Two, we told the Canadians saying that, look, if you have something specific, if you have something relevant, let us know. We are open to looking at it. So, but to understand the context of it, in a way, because the picture is not complete without the context in a way, you also have to appreciate, Ken, that in the last few years, Canada actually has seen a lot of organized crime, relating to, the secessionist forces, organized crime, violence, extremism. They're all very, very deeply mixed up. So, in fact, we have been, talking about specifics and information. We have actually been badgering the Canadians. We have given them a lot of information about organized crime leadership, which operates out of Canada. There are a large number of extradition requests. There are terrorist leaders who have been identified. So do understand that there is an environment out there. So that is important in a way to factor in.
Meanwhile, the United States has taken a hands-off approach, suggesting that India is more than capable of handling its own diplomatic negotiations without outside intervention. As the dust settles, some argue that Canada now finds itself isolated. It's unable to furnish any substantial evidence, and even its allies are growing reluctant to support its stance. Trudeau appears to have played a high-stake bluff, trapping himself in a web of diplomatic tensions with no clear exit strategy in sight.